everyone, my name is Amber and welcome to Confessions of Brokenness. I wanted to share this quick word of encouragement with you all today. I want to talk about the book of Luke chapter 1 and I want to start about verse 11. I'm going to summarize this in my own words, so please go back and check it out for yourself. So verse 11 starts to talk about how the angel of the Lord appears to Zechariah, who's Elizabeth's husband, and gives him this promise and says like, hey, we heard your prayers, or the Lord has heard your prayers. Your prayers are going to be answered, and Elizabeth is going to bear you a son. Zechariah, in verse about 18, Zechariah asks, how can I be sure of this? You know, he don't really know. He's saying he's old, Elizabeth's old. Like, how is this going to happen? Because of this doubt, or because of this question he asks, the angel of the Lord says, and tells him that he's going to be silenced until the birth of John the Baptist. So his mouth is silenced. He cannot talk anymore from this point until John the Baptist's birth later on. Verse 24 says, after this, his wife Elizabeth became pregnant and for 5 months remained in seclusion. Then verses 26 through 38 goes into talking about how the same the angel Gabriel visits Mary and gives her pretty much a similar promise. And then verse 39, this is what I really want to dig deep into. Verse 39 through 45 states, at that time, Mary got ready and hurried to a town in the hill country of Judea, where she entered Zechariah's home and greeted Elizabeth. When Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the baby leaped in her womb, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit. In a loud voice, she exclaimed, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the child you will bear. But why am I so favored that the mother of my Lord should come to me? As soon as the sound of your greeting reached my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. Blessed is she who has believed that the Lord would fulfill his promises to her." I want to pull from this text and encourage you all to start to get connected to somebody who makes that baby in your womb leap. There was something in Elizabeth that was planted in the sound of Mary's voice. The visitation from Mary activated that thing that was in Elizabeth that God had planted there. Because if we remember, I read in verse 24 that Elizabeth was in seclusion for 5 whole months. So she was secluded by herself for 5 whole months. Mary came to visit her in about the 6th month. And when she spoke, it activated something that was secluded for so long. And I can imagine that this seclusion, if we want to be honest about it, was not easy. She was probably in her thoughts. I mean, me personally, I would have been scared to speak any doubt out loud because my husband, he can't talk. So because he had doubt, so surely I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to speak up. But here I am sitting in seclusion for 5 whole months, carrying something that's supposed to be something great, something that God planted in me. And I have these thoughts of, is it going to be what God said it's going to be? Is it going to walk in what God said it's going to walk in? Is it going to do what God said it's going to do? Is this baby really who God said it was? And I'm thinking these things, but I don't want to speak it because I don't want to be silenced like my husband. So she's just secluded in this place that had to be hard for her. And it took for one person to come visit her, to activate that thing in her, to make that thing that she wasn't even sure about leap. And leap is such a big movement. It's such a big word of expression because it's not just a kick. It wasn't just a kick or a punch. It wasn't anything like that. She said leap. You made this thing in me leap. So that means this is some real action. This thing that went from laying dormant, this thing that went from maybe not moving, maybe she didn't feel any movement, maybe there wasn't really too much going on. But Mary, there was something that happened when you got into my presence and you spoke a certain word that made this thing that God planted in me leap. So ladies, I am encouraging you to get connected to someone who's going to make that thing that God planted in you leap again. You may have been in seclusion. You may have been in a place where you've been wondering, Lord, are you really going to prosper it? Lord, are you really going to do it? I know you gave me this vision back in 2005, but I need to know if the vision still applies today. I need to know if what you told me back then is still going to prosper today. I need to know because it's been some years and I've been in this place of of seclusion, and I haven't even revisited what you said because I'm afraid to think of the what ifs. But you need to get connected to somebody that's going to remind you of the purpose, that's going to remind you of the thing that God planted in you, that's going to remind you of that vision. You need to get connected to somebody that's going to come along and say, hey sis, what's going on with the business? Because I remember you showed me the business plan, and I remember it looked amazing, and I remember I knew the second that you showed me that you were going to prosper in it. So have you moved forward in it? What's going on? I need you to pick up that pen again. I need you to dream again. I need you to believe again. I need you to start to focus again, because I believe in that thing that God planted in you, and you've been in seclusion for too long, and I'm showing up because there's something in you that I need to activate, and I need it to leap. And so ladies, I want to encourage you, get connected to somebody, maybe somebody that has to encourage you for the degree. Maybe you started it and you didn't finish it, but God is coming and he wants to show up, and he wants to send somebody who's going to make that thing in you that he planted leap again. I need them to speak a certain word that's going to activate that thing in you, that's going to make you believe again. Elizabeth was in this place of seclusion. We don't know what that looks like for her. And when Mary shows up, something that she may have thought was not even living, something that she may have thought was over, something that she may have been wondering if it was even still alive, something she may have been wondering, what's going to happen with it? Am I going to make it to the end? Am I going to survive this whole pregnancy? I'm old. It's too late. All of these thoughts she probably was struggling with, and Mary came along, and in one word, or just her showing up, that thing in her leaped. That thing in her said, the devil is a liar. I know you've been in seclusion, but I am still here. I am going to do what God said that I am going to do, and I'm going to flourish in the way God said that I should flourish. Wait until I am birthed. Wait until you see what I do. Wait until you see how I move once I am birthed into this earth. And so it's the same thing. God has planted some things deep in your womb, and he wants to send somebody that's going to make that thing that you thought was dead leap again. That's going to make that thing that's been lying dormant leap again. And I am so excited, because it's never too late to dream again. It's never too late to move in what God promised you again. It is never too late. It may be that business that God promised you that you haven't worked on. It may be the degree, like I said. It may be the counseling. Maybe, your healing is a big part of what God planted in you, and you're supposed to be healed. It just takes someone to come along and say, hey, what's going on with the counseling process? Because I know God called you to walk in a certain purpose, and we both know that in order for you to walk in that purpose, there are some places within you that are going to have to be healed, but it's for a good thing. And I will walk this thing out with you if you need me to walk it out with you, because that's the beautiful part of this whole story. Verse 56 says that Mary stayed with Elizabeth for about 3 months and then returned home. Elizabeth, she visited her in her 6th month, and then she stayed for 3 more months. And not too long after this, John the Baptist was birthed. So she came in at a perfect timing to throw the thoughts of the enemy off, to throw the thoughts of the enemy that were telling Elizabeth what you think that you have and what you think that you're carrying and what you think that God is going to do. He's not going to do. But Mary showed up and proved the devil to be the liar that he is. Mary showed up and she said, no, you are carrying something. There is something within you. There is something that's going to prosper in you. And that baby that Elizabeth had, the baby leapt. He leaped. And I think you guys, this story is just so beautiful. It's so encouraging. It's so encouraging for us to be connected to women who are going to activate that thing within us, activate that thing that God planted in us, that are not going to come along and encourage us to kill the purpose. We don't want to kill what God has planted in us. And I don't care if he planted it 5 months ago. I don't care if he planted it a year ago. I don't care if he planted it 2 years ago. It's time for it to be activated again. I have a friend who just came into my life, and what a blessing she is, because she was the one that pushed me to start walking in faith. She said, Amber, I feel like these are the steps that you need to start taking. I feel like I see you here. I feel like I see you doing this. And for me, that was powerful, because I was fine where I was. I was fine doing what I was. I was safe. I felt good, but there was something that she saw that God had planted in me that needed to be activated. It needed some encouragement. It needed somebody to come alongside that seed and start to water it and start to say, well, this is where I see God having you go. Do you feel the same way? And I said, absolutely. And then she said, well, this is what I feel you need to do to get there, because there are steps that you got to take to get there. She said, you got to come out of this place of seclusion, and you've got to start to move forward and walk in and walk towards what God has called you to walk towards. And ladies, I want this for you. Start to connect yourself with some Marys. Start to connect yourself with somebody that can just get in your presence and activate that thing that God planted on the inside of you, because God still wants to use that thing and he still wants to birth something out of you. So I pray that this is encouragement, ladies. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Love you all.